a nation with promises to keep. Facing a formidable challenge of securing the future of over 1 billion people. Tourism is the only industry with the capacity to employ vast numbers of people. Meet Shaukat Ali, a mountaineering and trekking guide in Ladakh. Madhusudan organizes adventure tours for thrill seekers in Bangalore. Harsha runs a tourist inn in Kerala and also undertakes tours. Shanti Devi sells Kachi handicrafts in Delhi to local shoppers and international tourists. World Travel and Tourism Council forecasts that by 2010, the travel and tourism industry will generate 11.1% of worldwide employment. It states that travel and tourism is India's locomotive for generating vast employment with growth. Tourism is labor-intensive. Its potential for job creation is 4 times that of the manufacturing industry. One job in tourism generates work for 1.36 others. In Kerala, it is estimated that one new job in tourism results in 4.62 direct jobs and 15.2 indirect jobs. In India, tourism creates 41 million jobs, 17 million direct and 24 million indirect. With India's employment target stated as 10 million jobs per annum over the next 5 years, tourism can be the answer for creating jobs at every level and skill to the benefit of weaker sections of society. With the acceptance of tourism comes the proud renewal of our heritage and culture, as well as a revival of our traditional cuisine. Tourism again has been the moving force in the revival of our ancient crafts, giving arts a new meaning. It has instilled a sense of national pride in our people and promoted understanding among diverse cultures, and tap into the force that will propel us towards true prosperity. Tourism has been the vehicle for restoration and conservation and preservation of the environment. In India's far-flung corners are people and places who have discovered a mighty engine of change that inspires hope and enriches lives. In every case, the power behind each quiet revolution has been tourism, the moving force.
When Christopher Columbus discovered America, it is said he was disappointed, for the place he was really seeking was this, the coast of Malabar, India's fabled spice coast, linked by intricate waterways to a hinterland of unimaginable riches. The Romans and Phoenicians, the Arabs, Chinese, and Europeans all came here in search of ivory, silks, and gold. But most of all, they came for the spices of India: cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, and black pepper, or black gold. And when they returned home, they recounted the wonders they had witnessed. When Marco Polo told the people of Venice what he had seen, they called him a liar and flung him in prison. Then, as now, India was a place that stretched the laws of credibility. If one ancient route to India was by sea, another was through the remote winding passages of the Himalayas, following the fabled Silk Road from China and Tibet, winding in through Ladakh. Ladakh, sometimes described as the last Shangri-La. Buddhism has always been a way of life in Ladakh, drawing pilgrims from China, from Japan, who for centuries passed through here seeking the birthplace of the Buddha. Pilgrims who would have stood witness to the mesmerizing rite of the great masked dance, celebrating the victory of good over evil, year after year after year. The legacy of the Buddha lingers spectacularly. In the cave temples of Ajanta, for instance, hewn out of solid mountains of rock and alive with delicate, luminous frescoes. But from Sarnath, where the Buddha preached his first sermon, it is only a short distance to the citadel of an even older faith. Varanasi, 3,000 years old, the world's oldest living city, the very cradle, perhaps, of Hinduism. To bathe here in the holy river Ganges is to wash away a lifetime's sins. And to die here is to find release from the endless cycle of birth and rebirth. Hinduism, a faith so vast, so elastic, it can enfold almost anything within itself. Its rituals encompass a myriad faces that appear and disappear wherever you go in India. Now through the hypnotic ritual of dance, and now through an ancient silent celebration in stone. Now through temples so intricate they might have been created by jewelers. Temples where you might make an offering to the gods of your dance, as simply, as naturally as you might offer flowers or incense. Around every corner, there's always some festival just waiting to happen. Ceremonies performed on a scale so lavish, it sometimes feels you're in an epic film directed by some oriental Cecil B. DeMille. Questions. Many questions echo through the ages. As a nameless Hindu philosopher asked 3,000 years ago, who knows, and who can say whence it all came, and how creation happened? The gods themselves are later than creation, so who knows truly whence it has all arisen? Only he who surveys it all from the highest heaven, only he knows. Or perhaps even he does not know.
केसरिया बालम आओ नी पधारो भारे
There are many Indias, each one the real thing. The India you discover in the desert kingdoms of Rajasthan, for instance, with their jeweled palaces, rugged forts, their timeless legends of romance, chivalry, death before dishonor. There's a slightly different India you'll find in the vast silent ruins of Fatehpur Sikri, the India of the great Mughals. The Mughals, conquerors from the north, who were themselves conquered by this gentle land and settled down to create a new culture, a delicate fusion of the Muslim and Hindu ways of life. It led to a flowering of creative energy and passion, the culmination of which is the Taj Mahal, once described as a marble teardrop on the cheek of time. The Mughals, like other empires before them, came and went, but they left their imprint behind, in the southern city of Hyderabad, for instance. This was once the fabulous, diamond-rich kingdom of Golconda, some of whose legends are intertwined with the adventures of Sinbad the Sailor, or so Marco Polo suggested anyway when he returned from here. Golconda fell to the Mughals, who made it a viceroyalty of their own empire. It faithfully continued the old traditions, long after the Mughals themselves had gone, right into the middle of the 20th century, in fact. Hyderabad was known for the extreme refinement of its ways. And as for its customs, they had to be observed, down to the last, most delicate detail. Every time you think you've figured out the real India, it decides to show you yet another of its many faces. Goa, for instance, with its great cathedrals, its Portuguese heritage, its decidedly Mediterranean flavors. Elsewhere, the memories of other European powers, like the French in Pondicherry. And if Napoleon hadn't been stopped in Egypt by Lord Nelson, they say, the history of India would have turned out rather differently. Where the French failed, of course, the British succeeded. And here in Calcutta was the second capital of their great empire, deciding the fates of peoples from Singapore to Suez, often without so much as a by your leave from London. Calcutta was an imperial city, a miniature tropical London, and it had its pride. Its clubs were more exclusive than London's, it claimed, and if the latter had the 400 Club, Calcutta just had to have a club called the 300 Club. And then there were the rituals, like the almost mandatory escape each summer to Darjeeling in the misty foothills of the Himalayas. Delhi, the 7 cities of Delhi, superimposed layer upon layer in time, together witness to the cavalcade of history. For as the age-old saying went, he who rules Delhi rules all of Hindustan. But if Delhi has been the political capital of India, the business capital lies unmistakably in Bombay. A city of dreams and hopes, fulfilled or unfulfilled as the case may be. city the Bombay Walla likes to compare, not with New York, mind you, but with Manhattan. The big mango, if you like. India is a country where past and present coexist side by side. Now you're in the 20th century, now suddenly you're back in the 10th. Right in the heart of Bombay's harbor, for instance, the great brooding cave temple of Shiva that takes you back to the 6th century. Here, finally, you confront an essential truth about India. It's a land of many faces, some seen, some unseen. But once they've looked you in the eye, you may never be quite the same again.
As the centuries rolled past the wheel of time, civilizations and religions evolved and grew, contributing to the enhancement of human understanding. One such religion that originated in India and today propagates the message of compassion throughout the world is Buddhism. In the misty shadows of the past, in 563 BC, was born Siddhartha, prince of the Sakya kingdom in India. At age 29, he renounced his family life and set out to seek a path to the liberation of worldly suffering. After great penance, he attained enlightenment and became the Buddha, the awakened one. The Buddha's enlightenment took place under a peepal tree, also known as a Bodhi tree, in the hamlet of Bodh Gaya. This holy tree of wisdom is an offshoot of the original tree and highly revered by pilgrims the world over. Close to the Bodhi tree is the majestic Mahabodhi temple, which was built on the foundations of a 3rd century BC shrine, originally built by the Emperor Ashoka, at the exact spot where the Buddha sat and attained enlightenment. Beautiful friezes of the Buddha adorn its walls. The temple compound is liberally sprinkled with small stupas and shrines, some dating back to the 7th century AD, and exudes an ambience of peace and tranquility. Here, diverse forms of religious activity coexist in harmony. The temple is also a working Buddhist center, offering lectures and courses in meditation. After attaining enlightenment, the Buddha traveled to Sarnath, where he delivered his first sermon, Dharmachakra Sutta, or Setting in Motion the Wheel of Law. This place of the sermon is the site of the Dharmak Stupa, which pilgrims circumambulate in great devotion. Extensive excavations containing ancient monasteries, shrines, and Ashoka's pillar are maintained within an immaculate park. Sarnath's Bodhi tree is also an offshoot of the tree at Bodh Gaya, colourfully strung with prayer flags, wafting its message of peace. Of the many temples in Sarnath, the Mulaganda Kuti Vihara, built in 1931, draws devotees from world over, who come to pray or study Tibetan philosophy in the Central Institute of Tibetan Studies, close by. Set against a pastoral landscape is the hamlet of Kushinagar, where the Buddha died and was cremated, and which marks his final liberation from the cycles of life and rebirth. After Buddha's salvation, his followers were divided into the Theravada and Mahayana schools. The latter's philosophy spread all over Northeast and Southeast Asia. Today, Mahayana Buddhism is practiced in India, in Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Ladakh. Ladakh, the Indian Shangri-La, is peppered with quaint monasteries, prayer flags, chortens, prayer wheels, and thronged by people practicing Buddhism as a way of life. The capital Leh, situated in the Indus Valley, was a trading post on the old Silk Route and is a starting off point for visits to the famous monasteries in the area. The Hemisgompa is well known for its summer festival, held here annually in honor of the great teacher, Guru Padmasambhava, who brought Buddhism to this region. The lamas perform the charm, or the mask dance, to enact myths and stories of religious significance. Southeast of Ladakh, at almost the end of the Himalayan range, is the Indian state of Sikkim, sandwiched between Nepal, Tibet, and Bhutan. Its deep valleys, lofty snow peaks, and tranquil settings are home to over 250 monasteries, mostly belonging to the Nyingmapa sect of the Mahayana school. The most famous monastery here is Rumtek, which houses the black hats of the Karmapa branch of Tibetan Buddhism and is splendidly decorated with murals and tankas. Further east of Sikkim is Arunachal Pradesh, the land of dawn-lit mountains and perhaps the last unspoilt wilderness in India. It is home to the town of Tawang, whose monastery is the largest monastery of the Mahayana sect in Asia. Tawang was established in the 17th century and has a renowned collection of tankas and manuscripts. Back in the northern Himalayas, in Dharamshala, in Himachal Pradesh, is the home of the Dalai Lama and a large Tibetan exile community. Most Tibetans now live in MacLeod Ganj, which is a living replica of a Tibetan town. There are temples, monasteries, nunneries and meditation centers, all providing for a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. The most famous monastery here is the Namgyal Monastery. The courtyard here attracts monks who often engage in philosophical debate with each other. Suglakakang, or the central chapel, built by the Dalai Lama, resounds to sacred chants. It houses some important Buddhist images, such as Sakyamuni, Guru Padmasambhava, and Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. The stark valleys of Spiti are another outpost of Buddhism influenced by Tibet. Breathtaking natural landscape, scenic villages and monasteries make for exciting jeep safaris and treks. The 1,000-year-old Tabo Monastery is the most important one here. This is where the Dalai Lama will probably retire. This monastery shelters some of the best preserved Indo-Tibetan art and manuscripts remaining today. Other important Buddhist sites in India are Sravasti, where the Buddha spent almost 25 years at the Jetavana Monastery. Rajgir, where he initiated King Bimbisara to Buddhism, and also where he set in motion his second wheel of law. Nalanda, the great monastic Buddhist university, which reveals the strength of Buddhist civilization. And Ajanta, with its 26 caves, a storehouse of some of the world's greatest Buddhist art treasures. The Buddhist faith, practiced in all its splendor, in an unbroken continuum of time from the era of the Buddha can only be experienced in India. Come to India and be one with the jewel in the lotus.
A sacred fount of civilization, the river Ganges waters the Indian soul like no other. She emerges from the icy Himalayan cave of Gomukh, or cow's mouth, to tumble down the hills and pour herself into the Bay of Bengal on India's eastern shore. Along her fertile route is the nerve center of ancient Indian heritage, Varanasi, or Kashi, the luminous. This is the world's oldest city, on the western bank of the Ganges, drawing pilgrims from every corner of India to symbolically refresh their connection with their culture. The culture of the Ganges northern plains resonates equally on the far southern shore of the Coromandel coast at Mahabalipuram. Man-made caves, bas-reliefs and temples dating from the 5th century to the 9th century can also be found at this UNESCO World Heritage Site. Meanwhile, in the north, the spread of Buddhism from the 5th century BC gave rise to a remarkable flowering of material culture in the form of architectural and iconographic features. Especially magical are the rock-cut caves at Ajanta, deep in peninsular India, dating from the 2nd century BC to 650 AD. Earlier examples of rock paintings dating to the Stone Age, around 5000 BC, can be found at Bhimbetka in the state of Madhya Pradesh, another UNESCO World Heritage Site. 25 temples at Khajuraho provide an example of sculpture in such high relief that it is almost three-dimensional in effect. The friezes are particularly famed for their delicate sensuality and forthright eroticism. Down the eastern seaboard from the Ganges Delta, a tall, proud temple has watched over these shores since the 12th century. It is Konarak, a temple dedicated to the sun, which medieval sailors from across the seven seas called the Black Pagoda for its exquisite silhouette across the waters. Close by, the resort town of Puri houses the 13th century Jagannath temple, dedicated to the deity, where divinity is personalized as the reincarnate Lord Krishna. The newly born religion of Islam began to sweep across India from the 11th century till the early 16th century, the early Muslim period. The ruins of the city of Dwar Samudra, which was razed to the ground in 1311 by Islamic invaders, are now known as Halabid or Old City. The glorious city of Vijayanagar was also practically destroyed in the early 15th century by Muslim invaders and can now be seen as the ruins at Hampi. During this period, the Islamic rulers left behind their legacy in the form of the Qutub Minar, the Jamali Kamali tomb, and the Old Fort. All situated in Delhi, and examples of the synthesis of Persian architecture with local influences. The end of the first quarter of the 16th century saw the rise of Mughal power in India. The third Mughal emperor, Akbar, took a Rajput Hindu wife, declared himself the impartial ruler of Hindus and Muslims, and began the process of nation building with his capital at Agra. Outside Agra, he also built the immaculately preserved city of Fatehpur Sikri, which had a specially designed forecourt for royal entertainment. Immortalized by poets over the centuries, with their ballads to the eternal romance between the Emperor Shah Jahan and his empress, is the Taj Mahal. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of Mughal architecture, and also one of the seven wonders of the world.
मोहब्बत अब तक
The Red Fort and the Jama Masjid at New Delhi are other enduring and distinctive symbols of the Mughal legacy. Despite their initial policy of annexation, the Mughals entered into an alliance with almost all the Rajput clans, impacting on the culture and architecture of Rajasthan. The imposing Amer Fort at Jaipur reveals elements of this synthesis. The Mehrangarh Fort at Jodhpur, also known as the Citadel of the Sun, is another great example of the Rajput-Mughal alliance. The remote and mighty hilltop fort of Kumbhalgarh, 84 kilometers north of the city of Udaipur, is perhaps the most formidable 15th century fort in Rajasthan. The crenellated walls and buildings of the colossal and ancient fort at Chittorgarh go back well before the Mughal era, and even though it was conquered by them, its spirit of defiance survived. During this period, Rajasthan also saw a renaissance in temple architecture in the form of the Jain temples at Ranakpur and Dilwara. Dedicated to Jain Tirthankaras or Gurus, these temples are carved out of marble and showcase their exemplary artisanship. The eclipse of Mughal power was almost complete by 1761, which heralded the rise of colonial power in India in the form of British rule till 1947. The British capital was first at Calcutta, a city built by an Englishman, Job Charnock. In 1911, the capital moved to Delhi. The English architect, Sir Edwin Lutyens, built a new capital in the Indo-Saracenic style in the 1920s. Great buildings and monuments like the Secretariat, Presidential Palace, Parliament, and the War Memorial, India Gate, contributed to the combined heritage of India. Cities like Bombay, now Mumbai, were characterized by a Gothic influence in their important landmarks, like the Victoria Terminus and the Fort area. The former summer capital of India, Simla, emerged as a hill station, followed by Nainital, Darjeeling, and many more as quaint architectural outposts of the Raj. On the periphery of the Indian subcontinent, other colonial outposts like Portuguese Goa, French Pondicherry, and the Dutch Cochin also left their mark on the collective heritage of India. One country, many cultures. India's heritage is a living record of time and space in terms of human civilization. All the ages of mankind, all the cultures of the world have added their color to the unique texture that makes India a place like no other. Romance, splendor, glory, devotion, valor, and sensuality are the many pillars of this great heritage that endures even today. Come to India and see the ages come alive.
Imagine a place, mystic, mysterious, and vibrant, framed by mighty mountains and gently rolling hills, home to sparkling rivers and sacred lakes, strewn with exotic flowers and amazing animals. Imagine a people, gentle, graceful, and welcoming, at one with nature, keeping alive their rich heritage. Imagine paradise, unexplored. Welcome to the wonderland that is the northeast of India. They call the Seven Sisters, and then Sikkim, each more beautiful, with distinct characteristics. Together, a kaleidoscope of magical imagery, challenging adventure and an enriching experience. Shillong, the Scotland of the northeast. Tagore used the setting for arguably his most romantic novel, quaint, unhurried. Set amid smoky blue hills thick with pine trees and orchids, singing brooks, scenic lakeside views and crashing waterfalls. Sprawling tea estates, even, harmonious, green, very green. The region produces some of the best teas in the world. Assam, the tea country. A drive or a walk through the silent acres of lush green is a soothing sight. The centuries-old heritage tea bungalows of Assam, reminiscent of a romantic lifestyle fostered by the splendid isolation of the prosperous tea estates. Tripura, a royal feast, dotted with magnificent palaces, spectacular in their indulgence, invoking the spirit of a romantic heritage. The magnificent Ujjayanta Palace, set amid sprawling gardens in the Mughal style, the crowning glory of Agartala. The Neer Mahal, incandescent, opulent, romantic, rising in the middle of a natural lake, Rudrasagar. Resplendent in the glow of the evening sun. The Kanchenjunga looks down benignly. There's a mystic hush. Pema Yangtze in East Sikkim, the oldest and the holiest of all gompas in the state, home to priceless artifacts of Mahayana Buddhism. Sikkim, unique, mystical, the land of Buddhist monasteries. Almost 200 gompas dot the tiny state. The most significant monastery in the state, the picturesque Rumtek, the seat of the Karmapas, a recreation of the Surfu monastery in Tibet, their original seat. High up in the Himalayas, across snow-covered passes, forever in a clouded haze that heightens its mystic density, the 400-year-old fortress monastery of Tawang. A gigantic 10-meter statue of the Buddha, exuding spirituality and peace. Kamakhya Temple in Guwahati, Assam, located on the Neelachal Parvat. The temple dedicated to the Mother Goddess, one of the 51 peeths or holy spots in Hinduism. Kamakhya, the Yoni Peeth. It houses a sculptured image of the Yoni of the goddess, symbolic of life and its perpetuation, the object of reverence. For the religious wildlife fans, one is spoilt for choice in the northeast. With its national parks and sanctuaries, some of the most spectacular species of birds and animals in the world. Kaziranga, on the south bank of the Brahmaputra, is the oldest park in Assam. Spread across 430 square kilometers, it is a dazzling mosaic of dense rainforest, tall elephant grass and swathes of reeds. It is one of the few remaining natural habitats of the great Asiatic one-horned rhino. For the truly dedicated wilderness and wildlife fan, a visit to the Namdapha National Park in Arunachal Pradesh is a challenging and exciting goal. A unique feature of the sanctuary is that it is the only park in the world where 4 of the great felines are found: the tiger, the leopard, the snow leopard, and the clouded leopard. The sanctuary also has 150 species of trees and a fabulous wealth of medicinal and ornamental plants. Thrilling, exciting, and wide-ranging. The scope of adventure is aplenty. The unspoiled natural splendor and tranquility of the countryside has made certain regions in Sikkim ideal for trekking. There are treks that offer magnificent glimpses of the mighty Kanchenjunga, the guardian deity of the state. The stunning Chango Lake, held sacred by the locals. A picturesque backdrop for yak safaris. Those seeking whitewater action will find the Tista and Rungit with their sparkling, turbulent waters ideal for river rafting and kayaking. Here the water's placid, the boat ride a more tranquil experience. The mighty Brahmaputra, the soul of Assam. The Northeast, a soulful experience, inhabited by a fabulous people, scantily populated, yet its ethnic diversity unparalleled. In Arunachal reside 25 different tribes who can trace their origins to places like Tibet, China, and Mongolia. Each tribe has distinctive features, and each have a distinctive identity manifest in their unique cultures. The hill tribes in the areas now known as Nagaland had no generic term applicable to the whole race. The word Naga was given to these hill tribes by the people from the plains. Weaving is a traditional art handed down through generations in Nagaland. Each of the major tribes has its own unique designs and colors. Warm and colorful Naga shawls, hand-woven shoulder bags, decorative spears, and bamboo works make magnificent souvenirs. Mizoram, with the finest choir singers in the northeast, is truly the songbird of the region. The Mizos are sociable, fun-loving people, and despite external influences, they have been able to retain and keep their cultural identity and traditions intact. Manipur, known as the land of Radha and Krishna, has gifted India its graceful and lyrical Ras Leela, a classical dance that enacts the love story of Radha and Krishna. The Northeast, an experience difficult to translate in words or pictures. No adjectives are descriptive enough, no pictures expressive enough. One must feel it firsthand. The land showcases stunning pageant of cultures, expressions that lend a fantastic dimension to the larger Indian experience. A journey through the Northeast is akin to exploring paradise.
self-discovery. Indulge your mind, body, and soul. Incredible India. Embark on a journey of self-discovery. Indulge your mind, body, and soul. Incredible India.
Incredible India. Incredible India.
आदर सम्मान सदा से भारतीय सभ्यता का अटूट अंग रहा है। तभी तो सदियों से हम हमेशा सत्कार करते आए हैं अपने शिक्षकों का, बड़ों का, माता पिता और अतिथियों का। शायद इसी कारण भारत के एक महान सम्राट ने एक बार कहा था, हिंदुस्तान में हमारा तौर तरीका बहुत आदरपूर्ण है और हमारे दिलों के द्वार हमेशा खुले रहते हैं। इसीलिए प्राचीन काल में भारत ज्ञानवान यात्रियों का मनचाहा पर्यटन स्थल रहा है। आज हजारों वर्ष बाद भी हम उस सुनहले काल को वापस ला सकते हैं। पिछले वर्ष 33 लाख पर्यटक भारत आए, जबकि सिंगापुर में हर साल 70 लाख, थाईलैंड में 96 लाख और मलेशिया में 115 लाख पर्यटक आते हैं। क्या हम भारत में आने वाले पर्यटकों की संख्या 100% बढ़ाने का लक्ष्य नहीं बना सकते? जरूर बना सकते हैं। वो भी मात्र एक शुरुआत होगी, परंतु इस काम के लिए हमें आने वाले अतिथियों के प्रति अपना रवैया बदलना होगा। कई बार पर्यटक शिकार होते हैं बुरे व्यवहार का, धोखेबाजी और धोखेधड़ी का और अशिष्ट व्यवहार का। सीधी सी बात है, किसी घर में अगर कोई आपसे अशिष्टता से पेश आता है तो आप अपने मित्रों, रिश्तेदारों को वहां जाने से मना करेंगे। शायद यही कारण है कि देश की अनमोल धरोहर
यानी सुंदर पर्यटन स्थलों, सांस्कृतिक आकर्षणों, प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य और अंतर आत्मा की चहेती मंजिलों के बावजूद भारत विश्व के मुख्य 15 पर्यटन स्थानों में भी नहीं है। सच, अब वक्त आ गया है एकजुट होकर परिवर्तन लाने का, नया रवैया अपनाने का। शायद हम अतिथि सत्कार और मेहमान नवाजी की चिर परिचित परंपरा से बिछड़ गए हैं, लेकिन अब हम फिर से इसे अपनाने का प्रयास करने जा रहे हैं। भारत सरकार का पर्यटन मंत्रालय ठोस कदम उठा रहा है पर्यटकों के मन में स्वागत भावना लाने के लिए। इसकी प्रेरणा के लिए हम हजारों साल पीछे गए, उस समय में जब भारत ने विश्व भर में अतिथि सत्कार में अपनी विशेष पहचान बनाई। हमने पाया अपनी कार्य विधि का मुख्य आधार हमारा अतिथि धन्य है, हमारा अतिथि भगवान स्वरूप है। हम आपका स्वागत करते हैं अपने अभियान अतिथि देवो भव में। अतिथि देवो भव अतिथि सत्कार व प्रशिक्षण का 7 खंडों वाला कार्यक्रम है। संवेदनशीलता, इसके अंतर्गत हम पर्यटन उद्योग के विभिन्न विभागों को बताएंगे कि कैसे हर विभाग पर्यटन उद्योग के विकास में योगदान दे सकता है और इससे उन्हें क्या क्या लाभ होंगे। प्रशिक्षण, इसमें शामिल है उन्हें पर्यटकों की आवश्यकताओं और अपेक्षाओं के बारे में सचेत करना, उन्हें कैसा बर्ताव करना होगा ताकि पर्यटक पूरी तरह संतुष्ट हो। प्रेरणा, इस कार्यक्रम में भाग लेने के लिए उन्हें अनेक तरीकों से प्रेरित किया जाएगा, जैसे कि श्रेष्ठ कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए आकर्षक इनाम, क्योंकि मन में उत्साह और चाह हो तो आश्चर्यजनक काम होते हैं। प्रमाणीकरण, प्रमाणता, ये निश्चित करने के लिए कि प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम में उचित मापदंडों का पालन होगा। प्रतिपुष्टि, यात्रियों से प्राप्त सेवाओं और उनके अनुभवों का विवरण लिया जाएगा प्रशिक्षण में निरंतर सुधार के लिए। सामान्य बोध, एक बहुमुखी प्रचार अभियान द्वारा जन साधारण में अतिथि देवो भव कार्यक्रम के महत्व व आवश्यकता और उससे होने वाले लाभों के बारे में चेतना जगाई जाएगी। स्वामित्व, अतिथि देवो भव कार्यक्रम एक ऐसा अभियान है जिसे हम भारतीय समाज के हर वर्ग द्वारा अपनाए जाने, उसे अपना बनाने का आग्रह करेंगे, परंतु इस सब के लिए हमें आप सबके सहयोग की जरूरत है। आइए हम मिलकर अतिथि देवो भव की प्रतिज्ञा लें। मैं अतिथि देवो भव के आदर्शों का पालन करने का वचन देता हूं। मेरे अतिथि मेरे देश के लिए वरदान हैं। मैं पूरी निष्ठा और ईमानदारी से उनका ध्यान रखूंगा और यथाशक्ति वह सभी कुछ करूंगा जिससे मेरे देश में उनकी यात्रा सुरक्षित, मंगलमय और आरामदेह हो। जय हिंद। ये प्रतिज्ञा लेकर आप में से हर कोई अतिथि सत्कार का सद्भावना दूत बनता है। हां, यदि हम सब ये विश्वास रखें, अतिथि सत्कार की जिम्मेदारियां समझें, सच्चाई और ईमानदारी बरतें, अपनी सद्भावना दर्शाएं, तो वे यात्री बनकर आएंगे और मित्र बनकर जाएंगे।
Respect has always been an integral part of the Indian soul. From time immemorial, we have always respected our teachers, our elders, our parents, and our guests. Perhaps this is why a great Indian emperor once observed, "In Hindustan, our manner is very respectful, and our hearts are always open." In many ways, at that time, India was the ultimate destination for the enlightened traveler. Now, thousands of years later, we can bring that golden age back again. Last year, we had 3.3 million visitors, but when you consider that, Singapore gets 7 million a year, Thailand 9.6 million a year, Malaysia 11.5 million. There is no reason why we can't aim to increase our numbers by 100%, and that too would be just a beginning. However, to do this we need to change our attitude towards those who visit us. Often tourists are mistreated, cheated, and rudely dealt with. It's simple logic. If someone in a house is rude to you as a guest, you don't encourage your friends and relations to go there. This is perhaps the reason why, in spite of an incredible wealth of tourist spots, cultural attractions, natural wonders, and destinations for the soul, India still isn't amongst the top 15 tourist destinations of the world. The time has definitely come to get together to change this, to change our attitude. We've lost touch with the hospitality we were famous for. Now, we're going to make an effort to make it a part of us again. The Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, has launched an initiative to make our visitors feel welcome. To inspire us, we went back thousands of years to when Indian hospitality set the standard for the world. Want to do? Our guest is blessed. Our visitor is God. Welcome to a mission called Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi Devo Bhava is a 7-point program of hospitality and training. Samvedanshilta, or sensitization. Here, we will sensitize the various sections of the tourism industry about how each of them contribute to the growth of the tourism industry and how they will benefit from it. Prashikshan, or training and induction. This involves explaining to them the needs and expectation of the tourist, how they should respond and behave in order to satisfy them and meet those expectations. Prerna, or motivation. This is motivation to participate in this program through various measures. For example, awards for the best worker in the segment, because when you are enthused, you can do wonders. Pramanikaran, or certification. Certification to ensure standards shall be done at an appropriate stage in the training program. Pratipushti, or feedback. Feedback shall be obtained from tourists about the service they have received and the experience they had in order to improve the training program on a continuous basis. Samanya Bodh, or general awareness. The mass media communication campaign will be undertaken to create general awareness among the public about the necessity and the benefits of the Atithi Devo Bhava program. Swamitva, or ownership. The Atithi Devo Bhava program is a movement we will urge all segments of the Indian society to adopt and look upon as their own. But to make all this happen, we need the support of each and every one of you. Together, let us take the Atithi Devo Bhava pledge. I promise to follow the ideals of Atithi Devo Bhava. My guests are a blessing to my country, and I promise to care for them with integrity and sincerity, and do all that I can to ensure that they have a safe, secure, comfortable, and enjoyable stay in my land. Jai Hind. By taking the pledge, each one of you becomes a hospitality ambassador. Yes, if all of us together believe, if we become aware of our responsibilities as hosts, conducting ourselves with integrity and honesty, showing our care, we can welcome tourists, but send back friends.